Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Luchauskas. Today is the 3rd of July 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday afternoon session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments that I believe are quite important to watch their development on. So we're going to look at those, look at their charts, but potential areas for trade, where to enter trade, certainly. But before we do that, let's have a quick read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, just a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers website, and specifically if you click here on Research, JFD Research, it'll take you to our little web page, which we update on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts, and of course our main daily analysis that we produce every morning. So feel free to check us out, and I think you can find something useful for yourself here. But for now, let's quickly have a look at the charts. And the first one I want to look at, guys, is the Nasdaq. Now, certainly with Nasdaq, we can see that yesterday we had this nice strong bullish candle forming here, and we made a move higher here, and we've managed to touch this 7105 area approximately there. And certainly, of course, all eyes are on today's open, but judging by the cash market right now, it seems that we could get a nice move up, open above this area, and the area that we could be targeting now is this 21 EMA, shown here as the yellow line. So a very good area to watch, guys. Certainly keep a close eye on it. If suddenly, of course, we move lower here, we move below the 7105 again, we could end up sitting within this little range here. So actually, let me adjust a few levels for you guys, so it would be more clear. Even though we do have this important area zone of potential support and resistance, this zone between the 7010 and the 6990 certainly continues to be like a gauge for this one. But nevertheless, we can see that it kind of was violated a few times, so probably let's get rid of it here, and let's actually keep an eye on this area right here now, which could prove to be quite important for the future trading. Certainly this range here, this range between the 7105 and the 6950 mark. Let me just quickly slightly adjust this level to make it nice and round. So yep, good area to watch here. We can see that the kind of index has been trading here for quite a while, for a few days to be more precise, and certainly from now this area kind of still remains important area to watch. But like I've just mentioned before, the cash market seems to be slightly above that right now, but nevertheless, I mean, never stopped the index kind of coming back again into areas like this before and kind of continuing trading within it. So for now, certainly keep a close eye on the open. Let's see where this is going to open, but probably is going to open around something like 7125 approximately there. But if we do get a nice test of the 7105 mark again, then this could play out as a nice bouncing ground for the index, maybe to push a little bit higher. And if we do get a move higher here, we could start aiming for this 21 EMA here, shown as the yellow line. But this is where I would probably recommend to stay sharp, because if we start breaking it to the downside, let's quickly actually put a 4-hour chart before I actually start talking about this scenario. Now, if we start breaking it to the downside, be very careful, because we might get a bit of a like a false breakout to the downside, but then the index could reverse back up here and move higher towards the level that towards the area that I was just talking about, around that 21 EMA on the daily chart. And certainly, just judging by this 4-hour chart here, we can see that if this 7105 kind of proves to be a good bouncing ground, we could end up moving maybe towards this 7185 here, good area to watch, or actually slightly before that, to be honest, before we jump that high. Keep a close eye on this 7140 approximately there, good area to watch here. We can see that it proved to be a nice area of support in the past, and then an area of resistance here in the recent past. So if we, like I said, if we get a nice pop here, if we get a nice continuation here towards this, towards the upside, we could start aiming for the 7140. But if that doesn't hold, well, I mean, like I said, we do have this better area of potential resistance at around 7185 mark. So for now, guys, keep a close eye on it. Certainly, if you want to trade this one, I would strongly recommend to have your stop losses in place. And I mean, you could put a stop loss somewhere around here, around this area here, because if this is going to start reversing, this might drop a little bit lower. But if we start breaking this area around this 7050 mark, approximately there, then, well, this could, like I said, this could turn ugly, and we could start moving towards this lower side of the range that I was just talking about. And but at least with this area here, if you by putting your stop loss around this 7050 area, at least you're allowing some space for the possible false breakout that I was talking about here, where we could see maybe a spike lower, but then the candle kind of returning back above this 7105 mark. So for now, guys, keep a close eye on it. Keep an eye on today's open. Certainly, it will be interesting to see as well what it wants to do with this 7105 mark. So another one that I really wanted to touch on is the DXY, so the dollar index. And now let's put a daily chart on this one before we start looking into a shorter time frame. So for now, as you can see here, upwards moving support line here continues to kind of like dictate the rule, or not dictate, but like shows the direction currently, and at the moment, until that line is intact, I mean, we could reverse here back to the upside and push and then make another push higher. Certainly keep a close eye on this, and especially keep a close eye on this line and a potential breakout area here. If we do get that breakout, certainly it's the all eyes are on the day's close, on that daily candle's close, because even though we could get a move lower here, we could see maybe a breakdown here, but if the body of the candle kind of remains above this upwards moving support line, then I mean, not all is lost for the bulls. The bulls could see this more of as a bullish sign, and then they could drive it higher here. Now, if looking at the 4-hour chart here a little bit from the closer aspect of it, and we see that we do have some good levels here, potential areas for an entry. Let me just quickly adjust this line so we can see that we had nice resistance area here at around 75.15 mark. So guys, keep a close eye on it, because if we do get our bounce here from this upwards moving trend line, to be honest, for us to become kind of more bullish in this one, we would need to see a nice break here above this 95.15 mark in order to kind of consider a move towards these recent highs that we had at around 95.55 area. So good potential trade could be this one. Certainly, yeah, always have your stop losses in place. But with this one, to be honest, I mean, for us to kind of go ahead with this possible trade here, we would need to see a close of at least of the 4-hour candle here above this line here, above the 95.15, in order to kind of start considering the 95.55 area. But on as we were talking about, as I was just talking about the downside potential, I mean, if we start seeing breaks here below this upwards moving trend line, to be honest, the 4-hour candle wouldn't be quite enough for us. We would need to see how the day would close around this support line, because if the day is going to close below this one, then yep, I mean, this is not only going to place the index below this upwards moving support line, but also below this 21 EMA, which also could be seen a bit of as a bearish sign. Certainly we did have scenarios here where yep, we've closed below but actually continued kind of trading here not far from it, and then yep, pushed higher. But certainly this area here could be an indication where the index could move after this, could move a little bit lower, maybe even towards this sharply, like rapidly approaching 50 EMA. So very good areas to watch here, guys, especially on the daily chart. Certainly keep a close eye on that candle. I doubt that we could get a drop here today. Maybe this is something for tomorrow or even Thursday. So keep an eye on this one. Good, yeah. I can't say much about this anymore. I mean, because like I said, we are at a very interesting spot here on this one, where, like I said, we could see maybe a bounce here, or actually finally could see a break below this upwards moving support line. Let's quickly touch on one pair that I really wanted to show you guys, is the EURCAD. Now, this is a daily chart on the EURCAD, and we can see that we are now trading below this upwards moving trend line that has been running here from end of May, and certainly this is a bit of a bearish sign, I would say, because we are below this one, but nevertheless we can see that the pair is kind of getting held here by this strong area of support at around 153,200. Now if we do get a nice close below this level, and we could maybe expect this one to move a little bit lower, maybe even actually towards this lower side of the Bollinger Band here. Good area to watch, good potential area to watch, and yeah, but for that, of course, we would need to see a nice close here on the day below this 153,200. Let's actually put a 4-hour chart on this one, and let's see how it's looking from closer up. And we can see, yep, we can see the clear support here, here and here, and yep, it kind of proves to be quite important level, the 153,200. Certainly, if we get like I said, if we get that close below that, below this level on the daily candle, we could expect further declines here. And the good area to watch is this one right here as a potential target, potential kind of slightly more longer term target would be this 151, 150. So approximately there. Should I probably it's more of a near-term target, guys. So longer term, we would look at the daily chart, but from a near-term perspective, yep, we could see this potential low here that we had on the 14th of June as the next potential target. Certainly, if you are entering a trade here, probably the small recommendation to have your stop loss somewhere around this area, maybe slightly around higher, because if we do get a move back above this upwards moving trend line, then well, this could be seen as a bullish sign, and we could maybe see another push higher. So for now, guys, like I said, it is looking more bearish than bullish, but nevertheless, like I said, if you are entering a trade, then always keep your stop loss in place, and a good stop loss could be around this area here, as also could be a nice breaking point where it could place the rate back above this upwards moving trend line. So keep an eye on this one, guys. And the one last pair that I really wanted to touch on is the USDCHF. Let's put a daily chart quickly on this one, and we can see that we are moving higher here. It is supported, the up move is supported by this upwards moving support line, and well, I should call it trend line actually, to to avoid confusion. But because initially if somebody was thinking maybe to put a trend line right here, you could potentially do that. You could combine, you kind of connect these 2 points here, but to be honest, it's not quite as clear as this little one. So for now, probably we're just gonna to avoid confusion, we're just gonna remove that big one and stay with this little upwards moving trend line and aim for well, aim for higher levels probably. And because until this is broken, this continues to remain somewhat, I would say, bullish up until this level right here. Let me just quickly put a 4-hour chart on this one, and we could let me just actually adjust the line here slightly. There we go, so that it would be more accurate. So if we connect these points here, there is some room, of course, there is some room for a move lower here to test this upwards moving trend line. But nevertheless, like I said, if we do, at the moment we're seeing that the pair is kind of creating higher lows, continues to create those. It's a higher low here, a higher low. There we go. So one higher low here, and then we had an, oh, there we go, another one. We had one here as well. So you basically got the picture, guys. And at the moment we can see that, yep, it is finding its support around this level here, around this 0.99-150. Could be a nice we could see maybe another test of that area again. But if this continues pushing higher, well, a nice break above the 0.95, oh sorry, 0.99. Let me just quickly put this one here, 0.99-650 approximately there. This could open the path towards these higher levels here at around 0.99-900, or even actually slightly above it, the psychological 1 level. So keep an eye on this one, guys. Potentially we could squeeze a trade out of this one, especially, like I said, given that the fact that we are still above this upwards moving trend line here that we can see here clearly on the 4-hour chart. Okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for watching and listening. And if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, where we're going to have a look at other instruments, yep, I think you can find it useful. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and bye bye.